A new opportunity for ESG investors. KRBN is the first ETF that allows traders to invest in a global price for carbon. The exchange-traded fund was created by Crane Shares and Climate Finance Partners. And joining us now for an exclusive interview to talk about that and more is John Kerry, the former Secretary of State and the advisory board chairman of the Climate Finance Partners, along with CNBC's Bob Pisani, who covers a lot of our ETF coverage. Bob, kick it off.
Thanks very much, Sarah. And thank you for joining us, Mr. Secretary. Now, this ETF is attempting to set a global price for carbon emissions, essentially for the cost of pollution. Can you explain how does it work, and how is this connected to the climate change issue?
Well, it's very directly connected to the climate change issue because the climate crisis is the result of the amount of emissions that we and other countries have been spewing into the atmosphere, which is warming the Earth. And we see the consequences. We see the consequences in the fires in California. We see it in floods. We see it in the additional heat around the world, water, food production, refugees. There are many different components that are already beginning to hit us. And Sir Nicholas Stern and other economists have made it clear that it's less expensive to deal with the climate crisis than it is to sit here and avoid it. We spent $265 billion just cleaning up after 3 storms a couple of years ago. So this fund is indexed based on the 3 existing cap and trade or trading programs that exist in the world today: the EU, Canada, and California, and the RGGI program in New England. And and China will be coming online with the trading, and that's obviously enormously consequential because of their size. They're the world's #1 emitter of carbon. So what this effort does is takes the index based on those 3 funds and ultimately, hopefully, establishes a global price per ton for carbon. Right now, it's quite low. The experts say that in order to have an impact, to be able to really do something, it's going to rise up to 100 or above that, well above that. And what we're doing is trying to attract people to this marketplace to create a marketplace solution to the problem of carbon. You set a price for carbon, the marketplace will unleash its extraordinary energy and focus on where that price really ought to be. Demand will almost certainly increase, and the result is going to be ultimately that there'll be a disincentive for emitting that carbon. And that's how it has worked with acid rain on sulfur. It's been practiced in various marketplaces. We know it works. Now I think there's going to be increasing effort around the world, particularly in Europe, because the EU is committed to lead on this. And I think we're going to see a new energy transition emerging because the private sector is increasingly going to demand it.
Now, you co-founded a climate change group, World War Zero. You've been involved in climate change for years, but you've got this group, World War Zero, to advance policy change on climate. This would seem like the perfect year to advance climate change issues. We have the wildfires in California, as you referenced, at least being partly blamed on climate change. Do you feel climate change is really a major campaign issue right now? And if it isn't, what are you trying to do to make it one?
Well, this has nothing to do with the campaign per se at all. This is about policy, and it's frankly about good economic policy as well, because when the marketplace starts to move, that is the fastest and sometimes most effective way of getting things done. It increases technology, products, product development, implementation, deployment. So that's what we're hoping for, and that's what I think those of us who care about the issue are focused on right now. But that said, there's just a clear choice in this election because the incumbent president pulled out of the Paris Agreement when I was privileged to lead the negotiations for the United States in Paris. And when we passed, 196 plus countries came together and passed the climate agreement, the theory was not that we were doing command and control that was going to reduce the emissions. The theory was we're sending a signal to the marketplace that 196 countries are all going to do the same thing simultaneously. And this is the largest market the world has ever seen, the energy market. So you have 4 to 5 billion users today. That's going to go up to 9 billion users in the next 30 years. It's a multi-trillion-dollar market. And you're already seeing it in solar energy, which the price is coming down. The capacity of solar panels is going up. You're seeing it in wind turbines. The fastest growing job in America pre-COVID was a solar power technician. The second fastest was wind turbine technician. So you get the drift. This is a marketplace.